And after 148 days, the WGA strike will officially end in just 3 hours. Union leaders in New York and LA approved the proposed contract tonight, and they have given members permission to return to work as soon as tomorrow. KKL News reporter Tom Wade is here with the details of the contract. And what's next, Tom? They did it.
They did it, and it's over as of midnight tonight, of course, pending the vote of the full membership, but it is expected to go well. So the writers called this an existential threat, the generational battle, and for the union leadership tonight, they're feeling like mission accomplished with raises for streaming and residuals and protections from AI and new rules for minimum staffing in writers' rooms. It became one of the longest Hollywood writers' strikes in the Guild's history, starting back on May 2nd. Now, Wednesday, writers can return to work. The Guild's governing boards unanimously approved the tentative deal struck Sunday night. Here are some of the highlights of the 3-year agreement. Right away, Guild members will get a 5% raise on the minimums for their current contracts, followed by annual raises of 4 and 3.5%. For AI protections, AI cannot rewrite literary material, and AI content will not be considered source material. On streaming, writers could score 50% bonuses for domestic hits, depending on viewership. And the studios agreed to share streaming data. The writers will also get increases to their health and pension plans. Another major sticking point, staffing minimums. Writers made gains there too.
A couple of things that stand out. Minimum staffing, the idea that there would be some protection to make sure that writing staffs continue to be robust was something that out of the gate seemed unlikely, but the fact that there is some sort of measurement now, that there's some sort of guidelines to protect some of these jobs, that's a big win for the Writers Guild. And then also figuring out a structure of how do you reward streaming shows and success. Writers who have shows that go on to do very well in the streaming world. There really was no sort of benchmark before now. Now there is. So that's a big deal as well.
And here's how the deal broke down financially according to the Guild. The AMPTP, which is the Studio and TV Alliance, initially offered an $86 million a year deal. The WGA initial offer was $429 million a year. The final deal, $233 million a year.
This is a contract that I think the Writers Guild is very proud of.
The Actors Union SAG-AFTRA remains on the picket lines, including actor Jack Black, who was out Tuesday.
Let's get it done.
So far, there has been no announcement of when talks will resume between the actors and studios, but it's widely expected negotiations will restart soon.
I do feel the momentum. I think everyone feels the momentum that SAG-AFTRA and the producers want to make a deal as soon as possible. So I'd expect that they'll be back at the negotiating table soon and hopefully hammering out a deal relatively fast so this town can get back to work.
Writers were sent copies of the contract late this afternoon. They'll have the opportunity to ask leadership questions, and then voting begins on October 2nd and ends on the 9th. And Pat, we are expecting that the membership will probably overwhelmingly approve this.
You know, it sounds like they got most of what they wanted.
They did.
What were some of the other compromises?
Well, and you can see in the final breakdown there of the price of the contract amount financially per year that definitely there were some compromises. There was some in the $400 million range down to $200 million. Yeah,
but they start the motion pictures, they came in at 83
86
million
or something.
So,
yeah. So some of the things they didn't get, they wanted a slightly higher minimums, so they accepted a little bit lower on that, and then also some of the writers' rooms minimums they compromised there. But again, there was compromise. I think both sides had to give and take a little, and it seems like it, based on what we're seeing from the breakdown, it worked out for both sides.
Yeah,
so.
We saw a lot of cheering.
We did, and we talked about this before. It's not often that we hear the leadership from the WGA say a deal is exceptional. Obviously, the writers choose their words very carefully.
So. Good point there, Tom. All right, and kudos to them.
Yes, and so now we wait for SAG. We'll see what happens.
Okay. All right, maybe that's some momentum for them.
There we go, right.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Pat.
And stay with KKL News and KKLnews.com for the very latest on the WGA contract vote and the SAG-AFTRA negotiations. And a reminder that we're always streaming on CBS News Los Angeles.